knew. They knew.
What's going on, people? Back again, this time to wrap up the NFL draft for the 2023 season. Before we get going, first, I would love for you guys to subscribe. Please subscribe, please like, and comment down below. Let us know exactly what your final draft grade was for the Dallas Cowboys this year in this draft. Who are your favorite picks? Who are your sleeper picks? Who are the guys that you think really have a chance to develop and upgrade this roster overall? Did you like the direction the team went? Did you hate it? Like, what are your thoughts? That's for starters, and like always, like I said, I appreciate you guys for watching this and taking time out of your day. Like I said, please subscribe, like, comment, and starters. The picks this year were I guess you want to say all over the place to an extent. I mean, if you're looking close enough, you can see where the team is trying to go. Like I said, getting more physical, even taking it down to the way that day 1 and 2 went. It was to get more physical in aspects, whether it's blocking on the outside for the tight end position, whether it's getting stronger, getting more physical in the middle of that defense on the defensive tackle position. This team wants to get stronger. Mike McCarthy, Dan Quinn, they both have pretty much this whole offseason, I want to say, since the season ended to the 49ers, of course, in the playoffs, they both have made it clear, of course, they want to get more physical. You bringing in Mike Solari, you bringing in these other guys, Brian Schottenheimer, your now, I guess, co-offensive coordinator, joining up with Mike McCarthy. They wanted to get stronger. You want, whether that's going to help us more in the running game, it's going to help us out on the edge. It's going to just open up more for your passing game when teams have that threat that they know you can do both. There's no confusion. There's nothing that's, I guess you want to say, there's nothing that can really be taken away. Like I said, if you're a versatile team, you look at the most successful teams, a lot of them, whether it might not be the highest level on one side, on one whether you're running or passing, but they're able to do both to a certain extent, and that opens up. Like I said, they helps each other out. You know, we have like I said, we have a direction I believe we're going in. Now, whether you agree with the picks, you didn't like when they were drafted, you didn't like the players that were taken at that certain position that you might have actually wanted. You know, I mean, it is what it is. Like I say again, we're gonna ride out with it. Of course, we're gonna criticize when it's time to criticize, but I always try so hard not to go too hard on rookies because, again, at the end of the day, we never know who's going to pan out. And I try not to ever be the one that has to take back everything I said just because I ended up being wrong. So it's especially when it comes to rookies. We don't know who's going to end up developing, end up being the stars of your team, end up just being your major contributors. So I always say, first things first, as fans, I feel like a lot of times we need to just know when to take it down. Of course, like, we can be disappointed. Nobody's ever wrong for the team not drafting the guy that you wanted, because we all have our favorites. You know, we came into the draft. I had a list of guys that I was really wanting us to take a look at and really take a chance on if they were there and available. But got some, didn't get others. You know, it is what it is. Like I said, we have to let these guys develop first, evaluate. Especially you get to rookie seasons. Everybody doesn't come in rookie year, just hits the ground running. Sometimes guys take a little more time. Might take mid-season, might take the end of the season, might take the whole first year. You never know. It's just may take until playoff time. Then some guys break out. You just never know. Like I said, we have some guys that are here to fill in spaces that we felt we could get better at. Because one thing I will say, I don't feel like we had many holes. We didn't have big holes that we had to come in here and fill this year. So it was kind of just like take your picks with who you feel are going to be best available, while also at the same time you want to hit on those need spots, in quotations, those need spots as much as you can. Like I said, so you get a Mozzie Smith in the first round out of Michigan. In the second round, you take a guy, Luke Schoonmaker, also out of Michigan, at the tight end position. The biggest thing I saw, especially when it comes to a Luke Schoonmaker, when you watch his tape, you watch his film, you watch things that he can do on a football field, he has some traits that we can work with. Now, I wasn't a fan of the round we took him. I wasn't a fan of when we took him. Not even necessarily. I'm not against taking him specifically, but just not at that position. Because if anything, I felt you could have taken another guy in the second round. You had your Drew Sanders running linebackers from Arkansas. You had guys that were there that might have been more value, but at the end of the day, like I just said, we don't really know. I mean, this year, I say my thing is when you have a guy like Jake Ferguson, you have a guy like a Peyton Hendershot. I think they showed us, especially going towards the end of the season, the things that they can do, which is why you feel comfortable letting Dalton Schultz go. You didn't know what tight ends exactly were going to be there for you in the draft if you're the Dallas Cowboys. So you obviously had some kind of belief that at least one of those guys can take a step up, but they also maybe felt there were some guys in this draft that could help us make that a position of strength instead of just, okay, we're pretty solid at it. Maybe it'll make it a position of strength. Makes the biggest thing you saw Luke Schoonmaker. He's I think 24 years old. I saw lots of jokes. You see lots of jokes about that on Twitter and social media in general. He'll be 25. If he's not 25 already, he'll be 25 for sure when the season starts. So you're getting up there when you're talking about for a rookie. What you're going to hope is that you'll hope that kind of pushes him to a level of where he's able to contribute sooner than later, because when you watch him play, there are some traits, like I said, that he has. He's not a slow guy by any sense. He has a little athleticism. You watch him. He can get off. That's why I think it's more so up to your coaches. If you take a guy like that in the second round, then we're going to expect that you better have a plan for him, at least. Mike McCarthy, I believe he knows how to use his tight ends. But like I said, when you take a guy like that, people don't want to hear excuses. We don't want to hear, okay, well, he has to be in this spot. That's a second round pick, That's a lot of times going to be one of your contributors. And a lot of times early on, maybe whether it's special teams, whether it's in the red zone, whatever it is, you have to find a position for him that he can help. Now, when it comes to your next pick, your third round pick, linebacker DeMarvion Overshown from the University of Texas. I stated many times I was a big fan of this guy. And like I said, just being a Longhorns fan, getting to watch him, of course, he has things he's going to have to improve at. That's when you start getting past those top picks in the first round. A lot of times they're not the high end first round picks for a reason. A lot of times a lot of these guys have something that they can get better at, something they can develop on. They might be raw at certain things. But DeMarvion Overshown is an athlete. That's the number one thing I'll be able to say. He's an athlete. If you go watch him play, just watch some film on him, quick film. You'll see his explosion. You'll see he flies in like a missile. One thing a lot of times he may have to learn is when to pick his spots at how fast and how hard he's going. But one thing you will always get is the effort. That's why I said this is the perfect pick for a Dan Quinn type defense. Dan Quinn loves moving guys around. He loves splitting to the outside. He loves rushing and blitzing them right up the middle. Especially when you have a hybrid type guy. Like I said, he's a former safety. High level safety coming in from high school, transitioned to the linebacker position, and like I said, throughout there were many changes, defensive coaches changes. Texas hasn't been at the top for a little while now, like the top. So regardless of Texas Longhorns are still bringing in some solid classes. So you had some athletes here and there. But when you're not having big success, that means coaching changes are going to come. So he had to deal with a lot of coaching changes and then transitioning to a new position that he hadn't played previously. That's different. It's a different type of, I guess I don't want to say struggle, but it's a different kind of mentality. You have to change your mindset from being safety and you're one of the back end defenders to all of a sudden now you're playing closer to the line of scrimmage. You're going to be coming in contact with those big old linemen a lot more times. Teams that play with fullbacks, those physical running backs, you're going to be just getting more having to use your hands and your physicality a little bit more. And I feel like he transitioned to that very well, if anything. Like I said, one thing you're going to get with that type of guy is he's going to give you energy. You're going to get energy, that's for sure. I feel like a lot of people, whether it's on special teams, whether it's going to be in the linebacker position, whether it's that linebacker safety hybrid player, like the way we use a J-Ron Curse or a Donovan Wilson at times, those are going to help us out a lot. So that to me was one of the best picks, and I'll say just off of the potential. We don't know. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully all these guys can come in here and produce and contribute in some way. But I feel like that will be one of the guys that fans will just naturally grow, I guess, just gravitate towards, because you're going to see the energy. You're going to see the fire. You're going to see that passion that a lot of guys, it'll some guys with a lot of talent, they can be lacking at times, but you will not miss that with this guy. So it's going to help in the long run. And like I said, that's also you get those energetic type players. That does nothing but help add on and sometimes bring it out of other guys. So one of my favorite picks, third round pick, DeMarvion Overshown, linebacker from University of Texas. That is one of my favorite ones, and we'll see. I said when training camp, mini camps come, all that. We'll see. A lot of these guys, that's gonna be the first time out there getting physical in a couple months, few months at this point. So we'll see. That's one of my favorites for sure. The next pick is Viliami Fayoko, Junior Fayoko. Fourth round pick, I'm gonna say D lineman because assistant D-line coaches, apparently the coaches are coming out and saying they would like to possibly move him more to the interior, your 3 tech, your 1 tech, that type line position. But I think at the University of San Jose State, he was last year, I think the 2022 Mountain West Conference Defensive Player of the Year. I think top 5 in the entire country in tackles for losses. I would think about 19, I believe, something like that. He's not related to Simi Fayoko, but he is apparently the cousin of Vita Vea, and everyone knows that's a dog. So if you can have anything, if you can have any of that inside you, we will take that gladly. At least even if it's a rotation type guy. I think about 6'4", 280, 270, 280, something like that. So of course they might, if they're going to move him interior, you're going to assume that they plan on beefing him up a little bit more, add a little more muscle. But he's one of those guys. When you watch, he has some explosion, but it's nothing like, you're not looking at him like this super athletic freak in the sense of blowing off the line, blowing past tackles that real just off the line of scrimmage. But he has that one thing, like when you want to watch a lot of pass rushers, you want to watch a lot of guys that are getting after quarterbacks and getting after these runners, these running backs. You want the guys that are going to keep going the entire play. That's one thing he will definitely show, I believe. He has the energy. He has that, which I said, when we're talking about a Dan Quinn type defense, Dan Quinn wants a defense full of dogs. He wants guys that when the fourth quarter comes, they're still playing as hard as they were in the first quarter. That's what he's looking for. Like I said, one of my favorite guys on the team, like say you have your Donovan Wilsons, your J-Ron Curses, those are the type guys you want them coming for an entire fourth quarter. And when you get a guy like a Junior Fayoko, I feel like that is literally, that's a guy that you're looking for to hopefully be able to add to your rotation in some way, shape, or form quickly. Whether, or even like say even special teams, but those are the guys that you want to add. And again, it's all about development. It's about, like I said, rookie mini camps are coming up soon. When we get out to training camp, most of these guys, and I will say, what the biggest change in the Dallas Cowboys is, we haven't a lot of times gone into drafts without needing these major fillers. Meaning, when we're drafting a lot of these rookies, from day one, we need you to be some kind of contributor, whether it's a starter, whether it's a backup. We usually come into it hoping for you to contribute early. And a lot of times I feel like this is one of the first drafts that we're going to kind of be able to let these guys just develop, not have to rush you, not have to put them right in the ground and say, all right, let's get to work. Because a lot of these guys that were taking this draft, I'll say, they have some, almost again, go back to, they have energy. You want guys that you know are at least gonna be able to get and willing to get into dog fights. And next, that's definitely a Junior Fayoko. So, solid pick. I mean, again, I feel like I can go on this entire time. There were guys I would have preferred to be taken instead of, but after the fact, that's when it's time to go take a look at what they actually can bring, and you'll see energy. That's the biggest thing. I think a lot of people are just gonna stick with that and just gonna call it energy. That's what it is, you know. Like I said, when you start getting to the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round, unless you're just a college watcher, and I mean not just the top D1 schools. I mean from the bottom tier D1 schools to the D2, D3. Unless you're doing one of those guys, a lot in day 3, a lot of these guys that you hear about, you might not be real familiar with. I mean, a lot of people are not, unless you're literally just a fan of that school specifically. So, energy. Let's just go there. We'll call it energy. I think he'll bring a lot of energy. The next pick in the 5th round is Asim Richards, tackle slash guard, I guess you want to call it. About 6'4", 310 pounds, University of North Carolina. He had, again, we're talking about once you get to these rounds of the NFL draft, a lot of these guys now are very raw. Like I said, at certain aspects, whether it's a position you believe that they can play for you on your team. Like I said, he plays tackle. The coaches apparently are looking at him more as a guard because, again, he is apparently he's a strong player. Not, I guess, as quick a foot. And he's athletic, but not as quick a foot where I guess the coach will feel comfortable keeping him at the tackle position, especially if you have a guy you still trying to let him develop at that. Tyler Smith. We don't know what Tyron Smith is going to give to us at this point of his career. Hopefully you get a Terrence Steele back. These coaches, the vision, I guess, is, again, I think now it's at this point where they're trying to put the best 5 together. They don't care what position you used to playing, what you have played, what you're more comfortable playing. They want to put guys, I guess, just the best 5 out there. So if it's true that they're looking at him as a guard for us, then that's going to add to that room, of course, because we already know, we came into this draft, the guard position was probably the most, I guess, concerning, just for the simple fact that we don't know exactly who's going to be there. Like I said, at this point, we love Tyron Smith. You don't know how many games he's going to give you. He'll give you production, but you don't know when he's going to be out there for you. And like I said, that's why I feel we will be more comfortable keeping a Tyler Smith out there. Tyler Smith also could move to guard. We don't know. I guess we have to see what happens with Terrence Steele coming back. We know Terrence Steele has added a big boost to the right tackle position. So over the last year or so, I believe, I'll say, prior to the injury, he was one of your better linemen. Linemen, of course, and to your Zach Martins. You already know that. So if it's true that Asim Richards is going to be more of in your guard position, then, like I said, that the biggest thing, like I said, that one of his strengths is his power, and I guess solid legs. That's gonna help us because sometimes you can tell pretty much essentially when our O-line is struggling, that pressure is coming quickly up the interior. You have a guy like a Tyler Biadasz at center. We want to solidify what's around him because you're on the right side. You have Zach Martin, like we always talk about, reliable. We have to get stronger. We had to get stronger on the inside. We had to get stronger on both lines. We just had to get stronger in general. So that's a start, apparently. So, like I said, apparently that's what he brings. So we'll see. Hopefully that will be able to be pretty much seen, especially when training camp starts rolling around, because now you're around the veterans also. So once you put him to work against this D-line, once you let him go against Jonathan Hankins for a little while, Mozzie Smith, for a little while. Once you let him go, you never know, again, especially with our stunts. You have the Dorrance Armstrongs. You're moving people around. You're moving your Tank Lawrences. We're going to see exactly what it's going to bring. So let these guys get to work. Like I keep saying, just let these guys get to work, and we'll find out what they have. We'll definitely find out. And with the next pick, which is the first pick of the 6th round, actually, we traded up with the Kansas City Chiefs. I think next year's 5th round pick is what I read. To take cornerback Eric Scott Jr. out of the University of Southern Miss. If you watch his game, he's very fluid. Like, he's smooth. He doesn't waste a lot of motion or movement on his backpedaling, on his cuts, on his shuffling. He doesn't waste a lot of movement. He's very fluid, which is the number one thing, especially for a Dan Quinn type corner, because Dan Quinn likes the bigger guys. So the bigger they can be and still be able to move fluidly, that's perfect. I said, when you're talking about route breaks and all this, guarding these, especially the NFL, the way that the receivers are now, they're not able to be touched a lot of times. So a lot of times you need those guys with recovery speed, with just breaking speed, or just breaking quickness. The biggest thing I saw, like I said, was also like just how smooth he is. He's physical. He doesn't mind getting in there in the run game. And when you're trying to be a physical defense, you need all positions that are not afraid to do just that. Go hit somebody when you need to. It's a 3rd and 6, and the team is trying to throw a little check down, a quick screen route, a run play, actually. You need someone that's not scared to come down there and finish that tackle and stop that drive, because especially when it comes to us, if we want to be this more methodical type offense, which I believe we can be very good at. You're going to need that defense to hold course, of course. And you have those guys like Eric Scott Jr. One of the biggest things I think I saw people just kind of nervous about was, I think, was his pro day or was the draft, one of the two. It was a 4.71, I think was his 40 time, which it doesn't make sense because if you watch his game, he plays with athleticism, and I don't mean that even just in the sense of he can just hawk somebody down and run them down real fast, but he just plays very athletic. Like I said, I think his vertical was 39 and a half, almost 40 inches. He's not a non-athletic guy. Let's start there. So, and then it comes out, I think he says he pulled his quad muscle. He had done the other drills, and he pulls his quad and he runs the 4.7. And at a workout, apparently he had, I think in Arizona, he said, I believe he said, he ran a 4.42. I'm inclined to believe he's closer to somewhere around that. We don't even need you to be a 4.3. Everybody's not a 4.3 corner. Everybody's not a 4.2 corner. Everybody's not going to be just the lowest level 4.4 necessarily, but that doesn't mean you can't play the game. We've seen guys that are burners. They can't play football. That's two completely different things. So I'm inclined to believe he's closer to that 4.4 than anything else. He has traits. Like I said, it's very raw. And when he's a guy that plays off instinct, and you watch him break on balls a lot of times, or just go to make plays. Sometimes you have to be careful when you're one of those guys that you play off instinct. We watched Trayvon Diggs get much better in now year 3. There were times you were able to get Trayvon Diggs, as much of a playmaker he is. Of course, we know he's a ball hawk, maybe one of the best in the league. Of course, one of the best in the league. You could get him sometimes just off of making him, because he's waiting to jump a pass. He's waiting to make that one play. And sometimes when it comes to double moves, when it comes to just pick routes and just anything like that, you can catch those guys that might have their eyes on the quarterback or keeping their eyes right on the ball. But that's something I believe he can be coached up, because he's about 6'2", 200 pounds. Again, a Dan Quinn corner. He loves the big guys. He loves the guys that can be out there and get physical. He loves the guys that can be physical, but at the same time still play with some fluidity, still play with some smoothness. And that's exactly what he's going to give. You guys, you're going to have a guy like him, and he's going to help you on special teams. You're going to have a guy like him. You never know. Last year, what was the biggest issue we had? As much as we get on Anthony Brown, I'm one of the biggest ones. When he left the team with injury, you literally could see it was like he's bad, but maybe he's not the worst in the world, because now you're throwing Kelvin Joseph out there and guys like that out of nowhere, and you can see Kelvin Joseph wasn't ready. He hit the ground, and it was like almost like he was just scared to make a play. He was scared because he was scared to give up a play. And you cannot play corner like that. That's one of the positions you have to be forgetful. You have to forget the last bad play, because they're coming at you again. That's how it is. So you have as many bodies as we can throw at that position. I'm completely comfortable with that, especially when you're talking about bigger guys. You're talking about guys that have other traits that you can work with. Now you just want to keep developing them and improving. He's one of those. He's definitely one of those. So you're going to have to find a spot for him. But like I said, you'll never be able to undervalue what a good special teams player can give you in year 1, especially. And hopefully from there, you keep developing, because we have Stephon Gilmore. We traded for him, but we don't know how long he's here. Is this a 1-year deal? Is this one with a possible another year deal? Just maybe another. We never know. Is it an extension type contract that situation that we brought in with the Stephon Gilmore? We don't know. So like I said, a lot of these young guys that you're kind of just throwing at the roster now, one of them might end up being your future. You never know. It's just a wait and see. But I'm excited just to see what he can actually do when it comes to getting into the mini camps, and then when it comes to getting into training camps. Because now all that stuff doesn't matter. Your 40 times, your vertical, all that, it doesn't matter at all. Now you're out here guarding the best receivers in the world. Regardless of what your level is, when you get to the NFL, you're one of the best receivers in the world. So you're going to have to go against these level guys every single day. You have to make some plays. We'll see. I believe we talk about another guy with just not afraid of physicality. That's what he's gonna help bring to this team. And 6th round pick, what are you really? It's almost like if it's a guy that you're interested in early, let's say 4th, 5th round, maybe 7th round, or maybe sometimes some of these guys you might think when you start getting to the 6th, 7th round, some of these guys might have been players that might have gone undrafted. But sometimes you don't know. but you don't want to sometimes even risk the chance of somebody else being able to pick them up if you really believe that they can be a player for you. So that's an Eric Scott Jr. with the first 6th round pick for us. Like I said, that we traded for with the Kansas City Chiefs. That's gonna be a sneaky pick. I don't even want to call it one of my sleepers because I'm not expecting the world from the beginning, especially, but it might be a sneaky pick. It's a guy you definitely, I believe, you're gonna want to keep an eye on. And with maybe my favorite pick in the entire draft, and I'm gonna say this because I think he's going to honestly be one of the biggest just sleeper picks in the entire draft. I'm gonna say entire draft because I feel like what this guy can bring in, if he was even 5 inches taller, 4 or 5 inches taller, you're talking about him being a 2nd round pick, 3rd round pick. Because when you look at his production in college, you look at everything he can do on a football field at his size, it's special. It's special, and I'm glad he slipped all the way to us and nobody else was thinking that exact same thing, because I feel like he's definitely going to come in here and I'm gonna say year 1, contribute. And I'm talking about majorly, to the point where you're thinking, you know what? Let's get this guy a few more touches. Let's see what he can do in the big time moments. It's our 2nd, 6th round pick, running back Deuce Vaughn from Kansas State. His dad is a scout for a local scout for the Cowboys, Chris Vaughn. So that was a big, huge moment. Of course, they had the audio and the visuals of when they're in the war room. All that leaks when he's able to find out he's going to be the one to be able to tell his son that he's a Dallas Cowboy. Dope moment. I love to see it. Sure, we all love to see it. He's about 5. I think Deuce Vaughn's about to be 5'5", 180. But he plays so much bigger. And if you watch him, he plays with this intensity that he knows his size. And sometimes that can be an advantage to you because, again, when you're a smaller running back, and we're talking about a really small running back in size, not in intensity or the way that he plays, but just in size alone, you want to watch those guys and you want to ask yourself, like, can they run through tackles? Can they run through the holes? Because sometimes you have smaller guys, they don't want to get into any contact. They don't want to get physical to the point that you're going to have to in the NFL. You can't hide from tacklers in the NFL. These guys are big, these guys are fast, these guys are strong. You can't run from everybody when it comes to playing NFL football, especially at the running back position. But Deuce Vaughn, I said maybe like 5'5", 180. But you're talking about a 3-time all Big 12 running back. You're talking about a 2-time All-American. At his size, 2-time All-American. I've seen him play great games. We're talking about against your Alabamas. You're talking about he's not scared of the competition. That's the biggest point. And adding him in a backfield with a Tony Pollard and a Malik Davis, and I think we signed Ronald Jones to a 1-year deal. I feel like that's going to be more our power back in like maybe goal line situations, things like that. Tony Pollard, we may see what he can do at times, but we know Tony he's going to be your 20-20 back. From that point on, unless he breaks one, Tony's going to be that guy that's going to help get you down the field. Deuce Vaughn is going to be in the sense of, I feel like he's going to be the type player that we're going to move him around so much because he's capable of so many things. If you watch him, he's a very capable pass catcher out of the backfield. Very capable. He has no issue with going and catching passes and feeling comfortable doing it. I've seen him do it. And if you go watch his film, you'll watch, and the way he plays, it doesn't make sense because you see a guy at that size, you think, okay, he'll start to, I guess, wear down over time. He'll get a little more tired. He'll stop running as hard. This guy does not do it. He's one of those guys that you'll say, if you gave him the ball 20 times. Now, we don't know. We have to see how he develops, what his game will be in the NFL for sure. But it's just in college. He's the guy you weren't scared to give the ball 25, 30 times because he will carry you to where you need to be. Don't get lost in his size. That's the number one thing I'm going to say. Do not get lost in his size. He's going to be able to put some guys on a highlight tape because the way he makes you miss in the small spaces of the run hole. You're going to have linebackers. You're going to have safeties cutting down sometimes down to close to the line of scrimmage. He's going to make those guys miss. And we're talking about, as a running back, we all know what a running back can do. We watched Zeke when Zeke was healthy and a little bit younger. We watched him. Zeke was that type of running back that could wear down on you because they just keep coming and keep coming and keep coming at them. And you're going to have the same point where when you watch a Tony Pollard, any play is a possible touchdown with a Tony Pollard. Deuce Vaughn's going to be your wear him down to the sense, and I don't mean in the sense that he's running guys over the whole game, but just that running back that every single time he's going to be getting you some consistent, solid, positive yards. And if this O-line can develop the way we're going to hope it can, and you you have a Tony Pollard, and now you're using more of your quick pass game. Now you're using that's just another way to keep this every defense we're going to play against completely off schedule. They don't know what's coming. And of course, just at his size, you're not going to try to use him too much in pass protection, I would hope, because at some point there is only a certain level. When you're a certain size, there's only so much you can do. But he has a lot of ability. Like I said, this is going to be one of my favorite picks, just period. Just because, forget the position. Like I said, because if he was a little bit bigger, just in size, we're talking about a second, third round pick possibly. And that's only because running backs are not valued the same way. This year, you had a Bijan Robinson go, 8th overall. You had a Jahmyr Gibbs go 12th overall, I think, to the Lions. So, but on average, running backs are not being taken like that unless they think you're just special. And this guy, we're talking about, is he a late first round pick? Is he a second, maybe early third at the latest type running back? I'm excited. I think he's going to be that guy that a lot of us are going to naturally just gravitate to. We're going to become super fans of him. Like I said, rookie mini camps coming around. And one thing I said, his dad being a scout for the Cowboys, he's ready to come in here and work. You don't want to embarrass your dad, of course. It's going to be it's going to be exciting. I think it's a lot of excitement that can come from it. Of course, we saw what Jerry's saying. He's not closing the door on the Ezekiel Elliott return. We don't know. He could just be talking. Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is going to do Jerry Jones things. But this pick for sure, Deuce Vaughn, running back out of Kansas State, I'm excited. We will see where it goes. Hopefully it's nowhere but up. But yeah, that's a good one for me. That's an amazing pick. And I think, like I said, it's gonna bring it's gonna open a lot of people's eyes to what. Forget size. Sometimes forget size. So forget the size of the running back. Forget the size of the receiver. Whatever it is. If a guy can play, turn on the film. If a guy can play, he can play. As simple as that. With the 7th round pick, I think 244th pick, the Cowboys took receiver Jalen Brooks from the University of South Carolina. I think he's about 22, 23 years old. I look at him as more of a guy they like his abilities, not anything that you're really trying to bank on. I think he's like a 2-time transfer. Just a couple South Carolina games I kind of went back and looked at. He seems to be rangy. Like, it doesn't have to be a perfect ball for him to make the catch. He's one of those guys, like I say, has some traits, I guess you can use. More of a kind of, I guess you want to say, a possession receiver. 40 time wasn't really that fast. I think his vertical is about was it in 35s or something like that. So he's solid athletically. Like I said, he seems to be rangy, more of your possession guy. Like I say, I want to say Michael Gallup to an extent. Michael Gallup had a little bit more pre-injury, ACL injury. But we're talking about 7th round picks. These are guys, sometimes they could make the team, they might not make the team. Could be a special teams guy. Who really knows? We just want to kind of it's not much to say. Like I said, this seems to be just one of those guys you like. This is the end of the draft. You don't want to risk maybe somebody else getting them. Like I said, undrafted. When the undrafted rookie signing started happening, so went ahead and just put a pick in on them. Not much to say. I said he can be rangy. We'll see. Like I said, when the mini camps and training camps come around, could be one of the first cuts. Could be a guy that sticks around a little bit. I don't know. It is what it is. Like I said, 244th pick at this point. At that point of the draft, what really are you expecting, or what are you waiting on? You're just usually drafting guys at this point, like I said, that you just kind of like a couple things that they can do. We'll see where that goes. Not much left. Not much else on that. Like I said, that's just one of those trait picks. It is what it is. We see. So basically, that's the 2023 NFL draft for the Dallas Cowboys. Like I said, I think in video 1, day 1 of the draft, it was essentially, I don't think this is a draft that we had to go in and just absolutely had to have any position. O-line is still a question because I don't think we hit it as early as we should have. Like I said, there were some guys I was a fan of. And I feel like they would have been good additions to this team and to the O-line in general. But the draft is always it's a toss up. Like I said, you pick some guys that you're fans of, that you like their game. But then it's all about who's going to get in there and work, who's going to get in there and try to maximize their opportunities. Because they say when preseason rolls around, a lot of these young guys are going to be hitting the ground running. Because veterans, you're not playing much in the preseason, so the coaches are waiting to see what you guys can get done. Who are going to be your secret sleeper players during the training camp period? When, like I said, now when you're actually able to go against the veterans, you're not a rookie alone anymore. You're not out there just going against other rookies or other unsigned guys that are hoping to make a team. You're going against the guys that are your all pros, your Pro Bowlers, your CD Lambs, your Zach Martins. You can't run from competition anymore at that point. So we'll see. I appreciate you guys for watching. Hopefully next, I might go into and just look at the guys that we went ahead and grabbed in the unsigned rookie period. There are a couple guys I'm honestly a fan of their game, and I think they really can be maybe some players that you want to keep an eye on. Just, you never know. Again, it's a toss-up, but some guys that might be able to add something that we either can get better at, or you want to make a position of strength even stronger. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing's wrong with having as many weapons as you can. So that might be the next video, I'm gonna assume. Probably just take a quick look at the undrafted rookies. As always, I appreciate it. Like I said, please subscribe. Like I said, please like again, comment. Like I said, let me know what exactly your idea and opinions were on this draft. Like I said, did you like the direction? Did you hate the direction? Do you think we still have positions that we need to go take a look at in free agency and the remaining free agents? Do you think we're ready to, I don't want to say compete, but more so just compete with the other playoff contending teams? Do you think we're there? Do you still think we're missing some pieces? Just let me know. Go ahead and drop that down in the comment section. Let me know exactly what you thought of our draft. As always, I appreciate it. You guys have a good one. Enjoy your day.